My name is Jamie Bayless. I am the Director of Clinical Education for the Physical Therapy Program at Mount St. Joseph University in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Ohio-Kentucky Consortium of Physical Therapy Programs is an organization representing all DCEs and ADCEs and their accredited academic DPT programs in Ohio and Kentucky. We work collaboratively to support physical therapist clinical education. We are reaching out to let you know about an initiative related to the clinical education placement process in our region. Challenges continue to persist in PT education, particularly related to student placement for full-time clinical education experiences. Some factors impacting the placement process include more developing programs, more students per program, longer clinicals, and productivity demands. We realize that not all obstacles in the placement process come from external factors. We analyzed the 2018 to 2019 data sample from 5 academic programs within the consortium and found that only about 40% of the original placements were actually utilized. It's concerning that there may be potential opportunities for students that are going unused, so we determined there is a great need to better understand utilization of placements. Is the current process where each academic institution completes the placement process individually really working? Or might a better collaborative placement process be beneficial? Are there certain types of placements that are more limited and potential ways that we can address this? There has been discussion surrounding the placement process and potential issues surrounding it for some time. There was a clinical education summit in 2014 that identified and began to address issues impacting clinical education, such as relationships, processes, and collaboration. A recent task force looked at the current placement process for PT clinical education and identified a need to leverage relationships amongst academic clinical partners, particularly at the regional consortial level. We have been building upon these earlier recommendations in an innovative way by establishing a collaborative placement process that has shifted the focus from individual academic program processes to a collaborative centralized process using a single shared technological platform and standard timelines. Please forgive the busyness of this slide, but we wanted to show you our vision for an innovative way to improve collaboration in our region. As you know, many clinical sites work with multiple academic programs. The center of this slide provides a visual of this overlap that exists between PT programs and affiliating sites. We are taking advantage of these shared regional consortial relationships and created what we are calling a Consortium Core Network, or a CCN. We define the CCN as a network of overlapping academic clinical partnerships within a regional consortium that collaborates to enhance PT clinical education operations. Specifically, participants in the CCN are able to participate in a streamlined placement process using a single technological platform, EXAT. While doing this, though, it is important to stress that both individual academic programs and clinic sites will maintain the autonomy to decide whether to complete the placement process within a collaborative effort or to continue to do so individually. Some of the anticipated benefits to clinical partners and academic programs for participating in the CCN placement process are outlined on the slide below. We've already highlighted improved collaboration, but what does this mean in the real world of day-to-day clinic operations? We believe that the use of a single technological platform has allowed us to streamline communications throughout the process, such as a single mailing versus multiple mailings for the March mailer. We have also been able to cut down on the many different request forms that our clinical sites receive, as well as reduce the variability in timing of requests, offers, and confirmations. Overall, we believe that we have reduced the workload for our clinical partner stakeholders who manage the clinical education placement process. The CCN Physical Therapist Clinical Education Placement Process, or PT CEPP, is divided into 5 phases, with the first 2 phases in green on this slide representing the currently established process, while the last 2 phases in the yellow outline the new collaborative phase of the placement process. The request phase still occurs on March 1st using the exact platform. The only difference is that the clinic sites participating in the CCN now receive a single request form from the CCN instead of individual requests from each academic program. The offer phase will mirror the previously established due date of April 30th. Here, sites will still be allowed to offer or designate placements to specific academic programs in EXAT. During the placement phase, academic programs will assign students to available clinical education experiences as they usually do. After this, any unassigned or unused clinical placement offers will become part of the reallocation phase. Here, the CCN works with academic programs to redistribute clinical placements to participating academic programs based on parameters specified by the offering clinical sites. To elaborate further, if the originally designated academic program is unable to use a placement, the site can specify other programs for which it can be offered and the limits they may put on the placement, such as for a terminal clinical only. Academic programs will then utilize reallocated placements based on their clinical education needs. In the final phase, the confirmation and release phase, academic programs will notify clinical partners of the placement offers they intend to use, confirmation, or not use, release. The placement, reallocation, and confirmation and release phases are intended to occur biannually based on the start dates of the respective clinical education experiences, as seen as in the table on this slide. One goal with this is to allow for more timely confirmation of placements starting in the first half of the year. For example, the aim for the placements with a start date of January 1st through June 30th to be confirmed or released by the end of September. Similarly, a December deadline would be held for placements scheduled between July and December. Want to learn more? We encourage you to look at our FAQ document further highlighting the CCN's placement process. We will continue to update this document as we receive additional questions. If you're interested in becoming a clinical partner with the consortium and to participate in our CCN PT CEPP, please let us know by reaching out to our email address, clinicaleducation@okptce.com. If you have any additional questions about the process, please let us know and we would be happy to answer them.